Hello, dreamers, and welcome back to Dream Queen by Perla. As always, guys, thank you for your love and support. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing to the channel. And if you haven't done so, I encourage you to do so. It helps with growing the channel, getting the video out there for more people, as well as keeping me accountable. For personal readings, all the information can be found down below in the description. So we have Aquarius Pisces Cusp. Before we get started, guys, remember these are general readings, so only take whatever applies and leave the rest. You have this energy of gambling. It's called a gamble, right? You're gambling on something, but you are hidden from the game. So it's actually quite a very interesting energy, to be honest with you, because it's almost like you're doing something from behind the scenes, or you have somebody else stepping in your place, but you're the one controlling something, or you're the one controlling, you're the one controlling like their actions or something of that matter, because it definitely, guys, it's definitely like this energy of like you're gambling, but nobody knows that it's you. Nobody knows that you're the person behind it all, or you're the person behind this. So you may be taking a big, let's say, financial risk or something like that, but it's almost kind of like you're either a silent partner, like in a business, or a silent buyer. I don't know. It's just so weird, because it's like you're the one taking the biggest risk, but nobody knows that it's you. So this could be like, let's say you're purchasing a home, but you're not purchasing it under your name. You're creating a business to purchase a home, something of that matter. Why you're keeping it a secret? To be honest with you, you don't want anyone's input on whatever it is. I am hearing this. I am hearing like this thing. I'm picking up this energy of like, you don't want to have to defend your position on the gamble that you're taking. And you may have a lot of people with a lot of opinionated people around you that, even though you're not asking for it, they feel the need that they have to tell you. So I feel it is more for that. You're trying to avoid, again, when we talk about having to defend your position in something. Because it's like, regardless of what anybody says, you're still going to go through with it. As far as like how this is going to develop, let's say, it's kind of like, I don't know, there's the only energy, to be honest with you, that I'm picking up at this moment with whatever this is for you, because again, guys, these are general readings, so it doesn't necessarily have to be like purchasing a home. It can be anything else, but you're there is an uncertain this energy of like really not wanting something to not work in your favor or not work for you. But more than anything, you're more excited about going into this or doing this the way that you're doing it. So this may be the first time that you're doing something quietly. The only thing that comes close to mind is like, when like during the holidays, when you do like the Secret Santa, and sometimes you do divulge like who had who, but sometimes everybody just puts the gift and just puts like Secret Santa, so you never really know who gave you the gift. It's almost kind of like that energy. You're doing something massive, or you're doing something that you're investing, where there's a lot of money or a lot of your time, but a lot of people do not know that you're the one behind it. And for whatever the reason, you want it to stay that way. But it's almost kind of like whatever this is brings you a lot of satisfaction, brings you a lot of joy, brings you a lot of happiness, and you just feel like you don't need the attention, which is really weird when it comes to this specific thing. It may be a big donation that you're doing towards something, and you're doing it anonymously, because the act of the donation itself is what warms your heart. It is almost kind of like if somebody finds out, like, let's say you're donating $5,000 or $10,000 to a charity, they're like, oh, you better put your name on it, and you're like, That's not the reason why I'm doing it. And it's almost kind of like that thing, like you don't want anybody to know what you're doing because you don't want people talking about it. You just want to do it because that's what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? And again, for some of you, this may be money. For some of you, it may be time, or it may be something else that you're donating, but you're not wanting people to know that it's coming from you. There's something that you're gambling or something that you're doing, but you're not the one showing up your face. Dim new wine. So let's go ahead and let's pull out a few tarot. Let's see, what do we have? I don't need that many cards, Spirit. Because it just, and I know I keep getting like 10 cards at a time, and I'm like, I'm not taking all of those. There is this energy of like, for some of you, this is something that when if you're donating to like a charity, or you're donating to something and you're doing it anonymously, it's like when you were in a difficult situation, let's put it this way, maybe those that donated to you were constantly boasting about it and made you feel some type of way, made you feel uncomfortable because they were almost kind of like parading you around, right? Or maybe you have seen people, like if you have never been in a situation like that, let's put it this way, maybe you have seen how it makes those that are being helped uncomfortable when they're being paraded by those that are donating, or those that are supposed to be helping, just for their own satisfaction of like other people telling them like, oh, you're doing a good job, or you're doing such a good deed. And then the deed itself kind of like is kind of lost, because now it's all about the person that's doing the deed kind of getting all the praise for it, instead of the deed itself getting the praise. Do you get what I'm saying? So I feel that for some of you, that is what you guys are doing. We have the Lovers in the reverse with the Three of Wands in the reverse, and then the Hermit. You really don't want to pull the attention from the action itself back onto yourself. You want whatever the situation is, whether it is a donation or the purchase or whatever it is, to have all the attention and not you. Because for you, you feel like this was something that you had, that you knew you were always going to do, right? You know, you could be a person that's going, you know, you may be driving down like rough neighborhoods and leaving people stuff, like, you know what I mean, with like knocking and running away, like whatever it is, you're just kind of like this. You want to be very secretive, like you don't want people to know that it's you. You may hire other people to go out and donate and things like that, but you don't want to show your face because it's not about the approval for you. So we're gonna pull out a love energy card. And we're using the Dark Mirror deck. And we have the number 20, Downcast Pride. And again, this brings me back to that energy where sometimes people do things just to get praises for them, and not for the act of what it is that they're donating, whether it is money, their time, etc. And it is almost kind of like that's the energy that you don't want to go into. Again, either because you have experienced that, or you have seen how other people have experienced that, right? It's not always, you know, some people reach out and help out so that they can talk about it, so that they can brag about it. And other people do it just to do it, right? Because it comes from their heart. And that's kind of like the way that you're looking at a situation. And you're really just not wanting, regardless of what it is that you're donating or what it is that you're gambling with, you don't want the attention back on yourself. And it is what it is. And you don't owe anybody an explanation. So let's go ahead and let's pull out a closing message. There was a movie once that I saw. I can't remember what the movie was called. But the whole point was, there was this lady in New York City, and she was older, and she would go around and write checks to the homeless, and she would put cash on it. and she was basically giving like their fortune away, and her son had her admitted, and I do not remember what the movie was about. Like that's like the only that's the only scene I remember of the movie. Her son had her diagnosed with like I think like Alzheimer's or something like that, and she was right with it in her mind. Like there was a reason why she was doing it, but because he was afraid that she was giving away her fortune, right? Because if she passes, then it becomes his. It wasn't his at the moment, but if she gave it away, it would never become his. And he had her diagnosed with something, and then he took over like the family fortune. And it's kind of like that's kind of like the energy that you're trying to avoid, where it's like it's really no one's business what you do with your time or your money, because at the end of the day, it is yours, not theirs. So let's go ahead and let's put out a closing message, guys. Be bold and make the first move, the cardinal moon. So again, you're being very bold. You're being very, you are definitely taking a gamble when it comes to something, but you're still kind of like in the back room. You're you're in the backstage. And it's kind of funny because it's like, this is probably something people do not expect from you, because I feel that in the past when you've done similar things, it's not so much you boasting about it, but other people would boast about it, so that you're doing this in secret or without or anonymously. I think will really shock a lot of people if they were to find out. Well, guys, that is all that I have. Sending every single one of you love, strength, and blessing, guys. Take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.